Trump is man of the year, which is, yeah, of course he is. And also the drones. What's going on with the drones? I'll start with the press conference. So here's the thing about Trump and the media. They hate him, but they need him. Without Trump, what happens to the so-called news channels, other than Fox, obviously, which has increased its audience post-election? Its audience was already very high. I think 75% of the cable news audience is now watching Fox News. So it's basically Fox News, and then there's almost nothing else that could even be called a competitor. And that's an amazing fall for MSNBC and CNN from, say, 20 years ago when Fox was the upstart. But here's what you see. Here's what's going on. They need Trump because they're going to have to start covering the administration again, and they're going to have to build back some credibility that they're not completely insane. And I really mean that. Not just that they have to do some honest reporting for a while, not just that they have to stop the propagandizing, or at least limit the most obvious propagandizing that they do, but they're going to have to go a few steps further and report for a while on the Trump administration like people who are not insane. And they're not going to be unbiased. They're going to be partisans just like they always have been, but it's gotten too silly. I can't even watch Morning Joe anymore. There's nothing to watch. It's just sad over there. You know, they're trying to almost do a variety show now in the morning. I'm waiting for Joe Scarborough to talk about what the best canapes are for your next cocktail party or something. It's a total waste of time. It was way more fun when they were just talking about how Trump is Hitler and the world's going to end, because you were watching people fake a nervous breakdown in real time and get paid millions of dollars to do it. It was a remarkable sight to see, and to be completely dishonest about, just a lie about everything that was going on. I thought that was really, really entertaining. I mean, it wasn't like it was teaching me or telling me very much, but it was entertaining. And then Trump got into some specific things. For example, he talked about the United CEO.
Quick, United Healthcare shooting, the
I think
shooting of the
it's
CEO. Can you give us your thoughts about that? And what do you make of
Well,
the
I
reaction
think
around
it's
the
terrible.
suspected shooter? Does that tell you anything about how people
I think
about
it's a
healthcare?
terrible thing. I think it's really terrible that some people seem to admire him, like him. And I was happy to see that it wasn't specific to this gentleman that was killed. It's just an overall sickness as opposed to a specific sickness. That was a terrible thing. It was cold-blooded, just a cold-blooded, horrible killing. And how people can like this guy is, that's a sickness, actually. That's really very bad, especially the way it was done. It was so bad, right in the back. And very bad, thing like that, you can't believe that some people, and maybe it's fake news, I don't know. It's hard to believe that that can even be thought of, but it seems that there's a certain appetite for him. I don't get it. Yeah, please.
Look, I understand that people are angry about the healthcare system. This has absolutely no chance of doing anything to make that better. And even if it did, it's still grotesque and immoral. And the people who have tried to pivot this into their usual discussion of, but the big greedy healthcare companies. What about the big greedy hospitals? What about the big greedy medical practice? What about the big greedy ambulance chasing lawyers? I mean, there's so many people that are trying to loot the system for everything they can, and they have no interest whatsoever in dealing with the challenges of the system and to giving people better care. That's not what interests them. That's not what this is all about. So there are a lot of people, if you wanted to pick the bad guys, so to speak, there are a lot of people who could get some degree of the blame. And that still doesn't give you the right to take violent matters into your own hands like this guy did. He wasn't even covered by United Healthcare. This whole thing, he's clearly has some kind of a mental breakdown, this guy. He's had some back injury. He couldn't, have sex anymore, is what was reported, and was freaking out. So, yeah, I think that it's good that Trump came out and said, look, this guy is monstrous. What he did is terrible, because I was hearing from some people on the right who are telling me, no, you don't understand. The healthcare companies are murdering millions. No, the healthcare companies are not murdering millions of people. That's not true. Or even hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people. Sometimes they engage in unfair business practices, they engage in fraud. They do things that they should be fined for, maybe even they should be imprisoned for, but nobody's doing something at the healthcare companies that they should be subject to the violent whims of an individual or the mob. And if you believe otherwise, and you just believe that then anyone can have the right to do whatever they think is just in society at any time and take matters into their own hands. So Trump came out very strongly on this one, and I appreciate it. Also on the Eric Adams pardon.
Yeah.
Would you consider pardoning Eric Adams?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded. They see you're all stars, and they say, I want to upgrade that person from NBC. I'm going to upgrade him. And that would mean you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I don't know. Somehow,
I hope not.
I'd have to see it because I don't know the facts. I think he was treated. It's very interesting when he essentially went against what was happening with the migrants coming in. And, he made some pretty strong statements like, this is not sustainable. I said, you know what? He'll be indicted soon. And I said it not as a prediction, a little bit lightheartedly, but I said it. I said, he's going to be indicted. And a few months later, he got indicted. So, yeah, I would certainly look at it. Yes.
So here's the thing about Eric Adams. He has also been denied matching funds in New York City, which is a big deal because it's 8-to-1, $8 for every $1 you get in funding from donors. So he's already raised $4 million. He was supposed to get another $4 million of matching funds from the city of New York. And, I can't, the math on how the stuff works out, whatever. But the point is, they've denied him that because they say that he misused the program before because of the criminal charges. So they're essentially trying to stop him from being able to even run for mayor, and they want him to go to federal prison. Do I think that's at some level a reason for him to switch around, to switch things around and decide that he's going to be more willing to engage on healthcare, on immigration issues? Yeah. I think that when people are trying to lock you in prison and want to stop you from being able to run for mayor from your own party, I think that there's plenty of reason for you to decide that maybe you should look at the other side. And I think a pardon from Donald Trump of Eric Adams would be a brilliant thing, honestly, because the charges are crap. I mean, if it was actually in any way a real crime, I'd say, look, do the crime, do the time. This is nonsense. Getting upgrades on flights so that he could expedite permits or something. This is crap. Total nonsense. So I think that a pardon would be a good way for Trump to build even more of a political momentum for himself going into the start of the administration.